Hi everybody, Derek Sloan, Member of Parliament for Hastings, Lennox and Addington. I'm here with Randy Hillier. Randy, can you come just a little bit closer? Ben, can you move back? Yeah, there we go. So we're here in Ottawa at Confederation Park. I just had a statement in the House of Commons on lockdowns. You'll be able to see that shortly. But Randy was in town here to honor a very special person. Randy, can you tell us a little bit about what you're up to today? And if we could just get him in there a little better. There we go.
Well, listen, thanks for being here, Derek, at the Korean War. At the Korean War Memorial here in downtown Ottawa. Today is the 70th anniversary of the Battle of Kapyong, a most famous and, well, it's a historic engagement in Canadian history where a small group of Canadian and Commonwealth soldiers stood their ground for freedom and defeated an overwhelming force from the North Korean and Communist Chinese forces. So April 23rd every year is the commemoration of that forgotten war for freedom that was so important. And today, a veteran from that battle, Ron Burgon, was here and joined us. Ron is now 90 years of age.
Wow.
It looks better than me, I think.
He's looking good. No offense to you, but he's looking great.
He is a great, and he's one of the few surviving members of that battle. And the Korean Veterans Association wanted to have this commemoration, regardless of the lockdowns, regardless of our loss of freedoms that so many are embracing here in Canada today. There are still many of us who recognize that the valor and the sacrifice that those men and women undertook, and it wasn't just they fought for freedom for South Korea, but they also bestowed freedom to all of us, and we can never forget what that sacrifice was and the valor that it took to undertake it. And we are all the beneficiaries of their heroism and their courage. So it was a wonderful day. We laid some wreaths. We called out the names of those who lost their lives at the Battle of Kapyong. And it was great to see so many veterans out here today. And it was great to have Derek here. And we're joined by a number of much younger vets as well. Many from the Princess Patricias, I believe also the Royal Canadian Regiment, and the Strathconas, I think. And an MP. They're all here, and it's nice to see the younger veterans of our Canadian military out here commemorating that historic day.
Well, listen, I think that what you're saying today maybe has some modern day applicability, even though that battle happened, about 70, nearly 70 years ago.
70 years ago today.
I would say today we're in the midst of a totalitarian takeover of Canada, where we are seeing massive impositions on our civil liberties without any justification or evidence. And you know, I'll just go on. A good example of that today, there's an article in the National Post by the former Chief Medical Officer of Ontario, Richard Chabas, Dr. Richard Chabas. 10 years was our Chief Medical Officer in Ontario. And he was leading one of the major hospitals in Ontario during the SARS epidemic. And he says that the evidence for lockdowns is not there. That was not part of their plan dealing with SARS. We are seeing basically our government leaders are a group of lemmings that are following each other off a cliff. And it may be a small group like you and I and others that are becoming bigger and bigger that can stand up against this imposition of tyranny in Canada.
Well, I think that's exactly the parallel, Derek, is a small group of Canadians defended a whole country for freedom 70 years ago. And it's a small group of Canadians who are fighting for freedoms today and against this embrace of totalitarianism. This this is not warranted. It's not justified. It's unlawful. But many people are fearful of something that is really has no basis in fact. There's no evidence to be fearful of anything. And I'll just say to people, like, you know, think of those people 70 years ago and our ancestors who, well, fear, they saw fear up close and personal with bullets and bombs. And now we see our politicians today who are fearful of a sniffle, and fearful of people being free, and we just can't have it. We have to defend what has made Canada great, and what has made Canada great is our faith, our freedom, and our individual responsibility.
Well, that's great. I don't think I could add more to that than what you've done. Great to see you here today. And do you want to tell our listening audience what you're going to be up to? And I'll be joining you in some of these events this weekend.
Yes, so tomorrow, Saturday, April 24th, Maxime Bernier will be joining me at a major rally in Peterborough at noontime, across from City Hall in Peterborough. Derek, you're going to be in Barrie?
I will be in Barrie tomorrow.
Then Derek and I will be meeting up in Elmer, Ontario on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We'll be attending service at the Church of God in Elmer, Ontario. After that, we're off to Stratford at 2 o'clock. Derek and I will be joining the freedom-loving Canadians in Stratford. And then on Monday, we looks like we have another event in Chatham, but we'll have more details on that. But I will say this, our rally tomorrow for freedom and no more lockdowns in Peterborough has met with a really significant illustration of what is wrong with Canadian political figures. We had the mayor of Peterborough, and I can't use the words, it would be impolite to use the words that she used to tell Maxime Bernier and I that we were not allowed in her city. Now, that I've never heard of a mayor owning a city before, or having the gall and the absurd understanding that it's her city and she can prevent people from freely coming and going in the city of Peterborough. So join us in Peterborough tomorrow. Join us in Barrie. Join us in Stratford. And let us all defend freedom the way Canadians have always defended freedom. Peacefully, but with assertion.
Well, listen, I appreciate that, and I'll just make one more comment, and I appreciate, you know, the difference from a British and English historical aspect when we think about rights is that we don't view our rights as being found in documents or law. We believe the documents, the Charter of Rights, to be enumerating rights and freedoms that exist naturally. They don't create them, they enumerate rights that belong to us and exist naturally. The mayor of Peterborough doesn't control who can come and go from Peterborough. Canada belongs to Canadians, the rights of Canadians belong to citizens, and we must exercise them. So thank you for your talk today, and I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Look forward to seeing everybody throughout Ontario at our No More Lockdowns rallies with members of the End the Lockdown Caucus, Maxime Bernier and Derek Sloan, and let us defeat this fear, this false and unfounded fear that has suffocated our political representatives. Thank you.
God bless you, and God bless Canada.
Okay, I gotta run.